seniors enrolled at the University of Florida's Health Education and Behavior program. Essentially, this is seniors in their last year of the course. And they'll be looking to get some real world contact hours. It's a 40-hour a week internship, and our goal is to use them to identify community health needs, and from there they'll do a final project. So I think this will be good for our organization and theirs. Some of the focus areas are the patient advocacy, community health needs, the public health education, and then coordinating some of those relationships with our partner agencies. We have been approved for it, so hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll look at getting some interns going. All right, some ideas moving forward. With that money that was given to Meridian, they have hired somebody for a position here in Bradford. We've been in close contact with them, and these are some of the ways that we're looking at working with them. So one of our primary target goals is to create what I'm calling the Bradford County Overdose Response Team. Essentially, it's composed of somebody from our community paramedicine program, a counselor from Meridian, and then also a licensed mental health counselor. Essentially, that team will respond within 12 hours of an initial overdose, and then they'll follow up a number of days later. We're also looking to supplement their MAT program once they do get it into place. What we're really going to be focusing on is adding that mobile component to it. Most of their program, it sounds like, just from initial conversations, will take place at their facility there in Stark. But as you guys know, there are a number of patients that may have difficulty with transportation needs and things like that. And then you're just going to start seeing more of a joint effort between the two of getting that public education out there. We're going to start putting some of their information and pamphlets into our Narcan kits that we're handing out. Okay. So I don't think I've shown you guys kind of like the finished product yet. This is that old bookmobile that we had renovated with some of those funds. Essentially, we're turning this into, I'm calling it kind of like a mobile health clinic, if you will. This is where we're going to be able to help do those MAT services, counseling services, and things like that. We're just getting a few more lights installed, and then that'll be ready to go live, and we'll be able to start using it hopefully within the next week or two. All right, and just some recent highlights and some of the things that we're looking towards in the future. Through the Bradford Prevention Coalition, we received another 200 units of the Deterra drug destruction system. That's going to go towards our medication intake program that we're currently doing, as well as a future event that we're planning on Drug Take Back Day. We'll be partnering with the Prevention Coalition, and then we're going to get with the sheriff to get some of his guys included as well. Essentially, that's the national day that the DEA is deemed as the drug intake, so we'll be looking at setting up an event and getting that information out there. And then this is just one of the recent partnerships that we've established with Gainesville Fire Rescue's MAT program. So long story short, there was a patient here in Bradford County that required MAT services. However, he was having difficulty getting an appointment with Meridian because they were 2 weeks out. So, there was that 2-week time frame of where he needed some help. So we coordinated with Krista Ott from GFR's team, and we actually met them at the county line to get him those MAT services until he could get into his appointment. Yeah, that's just one of the many examples of how the partnerships between the counties are starting to come together and really work in the patient's favor. Okay. And that's all I got. I know it's kind of brief today. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And then I didn't have time to print it out. I have a plan for that team that I'll email you guys.
Just a comment, just to thank you for your efforts and partnering with Meridian and bringing some direct services here. And they're also looking forward to the work that they're going to also do in the jail. So it's good. I'm happy about that. And it'll bring more resources and help to Bradford County.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate it.
Madam Chair, so the 10 weeks on the distribution boxes.
Yes.
You had the one at Meridian, which kind of makes sense. I'm not at all, just saying that the other two, the one at ARC, are those there strategically for the areas that they're in?
So
for
we're
instance,
looking at
the answers one. it seems like it's right, kind of in a central location for, a large area. Is that?
Yes, sir. So the one at the Arc is actually one of the Hampton community hubs.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we are looking at strategically, where are higher areas where, there may be increased drug use and things like that. So the Answers Clinic, obviously has a lot of, of foot traffic.
Good.
But yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I think your intent was to try to get them in all of the hubs, right? So in Lodi and one in
Yes, ma'am.
Central Star.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair and
Yes.
Board, I just wanted to comment on and commend Lieutenant Weeks on his efforts. I mean, what he's done with this program has been pretty remarkable, and the partnerships that he's built is really what are starting to stand out with many different community organizations in different counties and cities as well. And so, very proud of the work that he's done. And this program is something that I'm very proud of, and I hope that you all are as well.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to our clerk's report.
We have nothing. Go ahead, Ben.
Did I miss? Oh,
Nope, I did want to do a demonstration. I don't know if that would be now or if we want to wait.
Let's hold off until
Sure.
the county manager report.
Our clerk.
I didn't have anything. I just I hope that we can go ahead and get a calendar set. Maybe we could do these budget hearings after the morning meetings.
yeah.
That way we get the business out of the way and then have the 30 minutes or hour, 2 hours, whatever we need to talk about. So that's just a suggestion.
A suggestion. I was thinking about it, and I mentioned to Amanda yesterday. I said, well, maybe we could start planning to do a workshop starting in January. Like, for example, starting with our sheriff department, then do our fire rescue, then do public works. So that we begin the series of having them, and then some of the areas that are small can be kind of combined together. But looking at our larger ones and getting started early this time, so that we'll be in better shape.
We're usually well aware of the Constitutional's capital improvement projects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they usually are good about communicating that, but more need to centralize in on I think the board departments as far as their CIP needs, and we really need to work on CIP because if we ever get back to having an excess revenue, then we can decide what we're going to do with this, and we have pressing projects.
All right.
So, Madam Chair, I do have a question. Now, do you want to include the constitutionals or not?
Well, when I was thinking generally about in preparation for our budget for the year, and that we had started late. I guess I said late for this year, not having done it continually. But the capital improvement plan is one thing, but our general overall budget workshop review is a little different. So to answer your question, do we want to include the constitutionals in the capital improvement plans? It involves them as well, but not their detailed budget, so to speak.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
They're to clarify that the constitutionals, they're usually not into anything building, buying
Right.
big expensive equipment. It's usually some kind of software they need for $50,000, $100,000. Whereas countywide, we have courthouse needs, road department needs, all department needs.
We have a lot of physical plant needs that may be impacted. If this AC went out in the structure of the building, would have to have resources to do that. But certainly that would impact their ability to work as well. But I hear what you're saying in terms of the expense.
Why would we have them here anyway? I mean, it's this mantra of one team, one mission. I mean, I think we all need to be rowing in the same direction. I think everybody should be here.
I agree. I was just saying, like courthouse right now, we have some serious ADA situations. My office is still unsecured, where all the criminals come in to pay their fines and fees and all that stuff.
Right.
And I have to listen out pretty hard because it gets loud back there sometimes, and the bailiffs do a good job of running back there too.
Ma'am, excuse me. Go ahead.
That was all.
Okay.
That was all.
All right.
That's pretty pressing to me. I mean, it's still the only department in the county that somebody just walk in and, I don't know, they might be able to go in the road department and shoot somebody.
But it's important, and so we do need to get started on that. My suggestion would, let's get started, the first of the year. Any other thoughts? Okay,
No, and I agree with the clerk too, as far as having the meetings before or after meetings that we have. And keeping them on those days so that they're not spread out and we don't have, I mean, selfishly, I'll just say, once I come back to town from work, then, I'm here. And I know that's an obligation that I have, but if we can keep it to where it's, in line with the meetings, then that would be very helpful. Thank you.
And that was one of the concerns with scheduling. And we all mark these days off. We know what they're going to be every month. So it's just easier to schedule that way.
And we certainly agree with that as well.
Good, thank you.
So if we could go ahead and schedule them and get them scheduled so that each one of us know when we're going to be meeting about that and we can make sure that we're here.
okay. So between our, county manager and assistant, we can look at the schedule, and then we'll come up with some proposed dates and run that by the commissioners. Thank you.
Try to start it in January.
Yes. Does the board concur that we would try to start that in January? Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Clark?
That's all.
Okay. All right. Our sheriff.
Wake up.
I just want to come before y'all and say thank you. Thank you for all the departments, the staff that worked together. Emergency management really stepped up. They're mapping everything, so hopefully in the next meeting he'll be able to show you. He's been showing me. It's pretty neat in regards to it. Also, we're preparing in our community, if at Mosley Tire, Russ Muscala and him set up a trailer to take donations of cleaning supplies, non-perishables, going to Steinhatchee, Taylor County area. I've been on the phone with Sheriff Pageant over there this morning and Sheriff Cook. She's the mission head for that mission, requesting more help because they've had so much looting. Now they're coming in by boats. So we're preparing a team. We did have a team ready, but when the storms were out there brewing in the plant, we didn't know right then. We just kind of held ours to make sure we took care of our community first. Now that seems that threat has deteriorated some, we're going to send over to Taylor County in the next few days and relieve them. If you haven't seen it, hopefully only by cameras and pictures and through the news media, they are devastated. There's a lot of people who've lost everything. People think just because you live over there, you might have something. Most of those people don't. They're a rural county like us, smaller than us basically by population. And so they've reached out. We're going to be sending a team with everything we can send. But if you want to pitch in, we've put some message boards out there at Mosley Tire, cleaning supplies, mops, bleach, those kind of things. If you want to pitch in, we put that on our social media. If you got the Sheriff's app, you should have got that alert this morning to do our part to help them because they'd be doing the same for us. But I'm going to turn it over to Emergency Management Director. He's got some real neat things they've been doing. But thanks to all the departments, we really handled Bradford County well. Proud. Thanks.
Sheriff, can I just mention also, not just Taylor County, but obviously Dixie County too. I know they tend to get a lot less attention. I'm not sure why, but they're more rural than the rest of them.
Oh, in fact,
They're devastated. They're
Lafayette, Dixie, I've been on the horn with all the sheriffs from there. They knew we usually have a little team ready. Brian Lamb over there is ready, but they, the big counties were able to send in that first. But then relief comes, and right now the looting is kicking in, and people getting upset they can't get to their house to see what is left. And it's they're setting up roadblocks and those kind of things, but it's giving relief after 5, 6, 7 days. So we held ours. We was going to go on first response. Sheriff Butler, when I talked to his wife, she's over with some of the state coordinators. She goes, I ain't seen my husband in 5 days. I couldn't tell you. She called and reached out because he couldn't. As Commissioner Daugherty said, they're smaller than anybody, and they don't get a lot of attention, but they've been devastated. So we'll be there for that area.
Thank you, Sheriff, and good morning, Commission. Just on that note, all those counties in the Big Bend, I can name them off. I know I'd miss a few, but Dixie, Lafayette, Gilchrist, Levy, Taylor, their emergency managers have been through 3 of these in 2 years. They are beat down, they're wore down. We have a statewide call. We talk twice a day, every day during these events, and they are beat down. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as they go through this trying time over there. To echo the sheriff and to probably sound like a broken record, how I kick off most briefs after we've had one of these events, I want to express my appreciation to the board as well as all of our departments. We truly are a team of teams. And what I mean by that, we have a fire department, we have a public works department, we have law enforcement, we have these different entities, property appraiser's office, tax collector's office, all of them though come together. Each with their individual mission, but when it all comes together under the realm of the EOC and emergency management, it's what makes this thing happen. We couldn't do what we do in the EOC without those departments. So I'm especially thankful for them, but for the men and women who are actually out there. We're in the EOC, it's warm, we got coffee, we got donuts, we got all that stuff. But there are men and women out there, cold, hot, tired, wet, over it, ready to go home, who spend a lot of hours out there cleaning things up. So when you see them, like I always tell you, that's who just tell them thank you. They do a lot, and we're really appreciative for all of our team members. This storm is a little bit different, not a rainmaker. We're completely different than we were, a month ago when we talked. A big wind event, and what wind does is wind makes it hard to find things. When it's a rainmaker, we go look around waterways. Everything's kind of condensed to those areas. So we spent about 8 or 9 hours out on Saturday. I talked to some of you. If I haven't talked to you yet, I'll be reaching out to you about your areas, but basically working from west to east across the county based on the fact that the west end of our county was closer to the heavier bands. Doing wind chill assessments, looking for residents with damage, getting out, talking to them, getting it documented. So we while we were spared a lot of the devastating impacts of the counties to our west, we did have some homes affected by this. So we're going through that. There's a process to finding out that information, to getting the right information. And the individual side of disasters has a lot of factors that go in. Were they insured? Were they not insured? How much of a loss was it? So we're working with our property appraiser's office, who helps us with damage assessments. They were out for a while yesterday. Me and my team were out for a while yesterday. We were out on Saturday taking a look. We had to wait for those roads to get cleared and open. But we'll continue that largely through this week. I've been talking to the state daily about what we're seeing and letting them know that although, yes, we know your resources are focused over there on these heavily hit areas, don't forget about us, and we are going to be reaching out to you here in the next week or so to let you know the extent of our impacts and see what kind of assistance may be there for our folks. Not anything guaranteed yet. I'm not going to, I don't want to put a false idea about that out there yet. We got a long ways to go, but we're going to keep digging every day. We're going to be out in the field finding that data. Like the sheriff was saying, we've got a new system we do that with, going over the pen and paper days. It's an app that we have now. It maps it out. It shows where we've been. It makes charts. It makes all kind of cool stuff that helps us in doing that, makes us more efficient. We can roll that data right up to the state. So again, we're doing that on a daily basis right now. As far as debris, we took a different approach to things this time, and I want to commend our Public Works Department and our fire rescue and law enforcement who are out there dealing with debris. So the very first thing we want to do that we did and we accomplished early on Friday was what we call first push, or cut and toss operations. And what cut and toss is we want to get roadways open. The biggest delay in that is always the debris that has power lines in it, so that has to be made safe by the power companies, which sometimes takes a little while. So our public works, our fire rescue, our law enforcement, they go out, they get it cut, they get it out of the road in a safe location to where the roads are passable again. So other than a few, little ones that wound up kind of down back roads that had power lines in them that took a while for power companies to get to, that was largely completed by a great effort by that team early afternoon on Friday. So today you will probably see crews out on the state roads, state crews out actually getting those state roads, the stuff picked up off the sides and starting to get that debris hauled out of here. And then within the next week or so, you'll see that begin on the county roads. Something really good that has happened in the last year, and again, this is forward thinking of our state leadership that has made this happen, state emergency management and their efforts to help out the fiscally constrained counties, is now if you're fiscally constrained, you can put in a mission and request the state to come in and take the debris off your county roads. The good thing for us is that lowers the cost that we're spending in getting this done, and that allows our county public works staff to be able to get back to doing all the other things that we want them doing. So after speaking with Director Dawes and Mr. Cornegay of the County Manager's Office, we decided that would be a very good thing for Bradford. We went ahead and made that request. Been talking with them, and you will likely see them in the county later this week or early next week. So the benefit there is, again, no cost to the county, and we're going to get our county work crews back working on their daily operations. But again, any major issues, Director Dodds and I talk daily, any major issues that we need to get involved in and make sure it's not causing a problem, of course, we're here and ready to do that. Just want to kind of wrap up with the reminder. I know it's today's October. We start hearing those kind of months. We start feeling a little bit better about hurricane season. We are still in the peak of hurricane season. There's a lot going on out there. If you're watching the tropics, I encourage our county to continue to stay prepared, continue to keep their disaster supply kits ready, continue to watch for those official notifications. We certainly are not out yet for more development throughout this month and next. Typically about November we start to see it fall off, and of course hurricane season ends at the end of the month. But just wanted to come give you a brief update on that. Any questions, comments, concerns that you are hearing about, I'd be happy to answer it or address those. And again, we'll continue working. I'll have some more information for you at your next meeting.
Captain Wood, I just want to echo your sentiments about the partnership of everybody working together. And I witnessed that firsthand from everybody from your department, from fire rescue, from our county manager, from our public works, and all of the outside partners that we didn't really physically see that were a part of that, even the Red Cross people. When I thought about that, these are people who are giving up their time, and maybe their own personal properties may have been damaged, but they're here helping us. And the partnership of all of the community people working together, from people from the board to just ordinary people in the community, just pulling together, helping their neighbors, is just tremendous. And I'm just so proud of Bradford County and all the partners working together. But I also wanted to mention that Ms. Tammy Steele had also sent out a message that if you were an elderly person with need for post-storm cleanup, that they could contact their office, and that telephone number was area code 386-312-2247. And she mentioned for people who were elderly and needed help. So that is some additional information. But again, just my thankfulness to everybody for coming together.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to add to Captain Witt's comments about the state coming in and doing the cleanup on the roadside. I spoke with Senator Bradley yesterday, not this Senator Bradley, but the other one, and she had called to check on us, and I think by the state doing that, offering that service up to us, and us being able to take advantage of it, is absolutely huge for us, for the fiscally constrained counties. So I would just encourage you to, send Senator Bradley and the other legislators a text or a note and thank them for making that available to us, because what that would have meant would have meant Jason and his team going out there and doing the bulk of the work and having to delay or set aside other functions like mowing and everything else that he does. So this was a huge win for the fiscally constrained counties.
And thank you. And some of the calls I got from people was, are they going to come back and get the debris? I said, yes, they're trying to move it out so you can get through, but they will come back and pick it up this week. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and with that, the idea behind this process of doing a cut and toss and then coming back and doing the full cleanup is to get those roads back up. Because ultimately, in a wind event, what we want to do when you have a bunch of trees down and a bunch of trees are going to come down is make sure that Monday morning school buses can run, parents and folks can get to work. We want to get community back to normal as quick as possible, and having roadways open is a major part of that. So it's not the prettiest for a couple weeks while we get the full cleanup done, but it is much more effective in getting those roadways back open and allowing our resources to start coming in and communities start getting back to normal.
Absolutely, and thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And
Thank
it
you.
was awesome to be able to call and get a hold of somebody and all the updates. I really do appreciate it.
Yes,
And
sir.
everybody did work together great, because I tell you, there was a lot of trees down. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Now we'll have our county manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to start out with Chief Carter. He has a demonstration of some new devices that the fire department has acquired. These devices were 100% grant funded, no cost to the county, and Chief Carter had written that grant and was successful in procuring this new equipment. So, Chief, if you want to tell us about it, that would be great.
Absolutely, sure thing. And very excited to get this new equipment. What I'm talking about here is this white backpack looking device down here. These are called Lucas devices. They're automated CPR devices. And so we wrote a grant for the Florida Workforce Grant is what it was called. It was each one of those devices right there is about $25,000. And so we ended up getting about $200,000 worth of equipment at no cost to Bradford County. And these things are hugely helpful. And we had, a presentation last meeting with, a lady whose life was saved. And that was partially due to this equipment right here. We use this equipment on her. And so wanted just to demonstrate kind of the difference of what CPR used to look like for us versus what it looks like now. So I brought my awesome team here. If they would go ahead and step forward, we'll give you a quick demonstration. And obviously, typically this would be done on the floor, but we're going to leave our visitor here. We're going to leave him on the table here, just so everyone can see. If we can do it kind of the size so the public can see as well.
So while he's doing this, like stuff like at first, this is what the standard CPR looks like. This is very physically exhausting for our providers. At the max, we will normally want you to do this for 2 minutes in a row. If you've never done CPR for 2 minutes in a row, it is very exhausting. You've got some people in the back confirming that. So this device is a huge thing for just our how well we're able to perform on, cardiac arrests. Unfortunately, we just got these, but like we said, we have seen the success with them very, very quickly. It helps with transport. Obviously, you can probably imagine trying to do CPR in the back of a moving ambulance isn't very effective, even if we are trying our best. So that's a huge thing with these devices that help us is we're able to transport a lot safer now. We don't have to have someone standing up doing kind of half effort compressions, if that makes sense. So I'm sure Joel's getting tired over there, so we'll give him a break. So that's kind of what he would normally be doing for quite a long time, and we'd switch out providers every 2 minutes, like we said. But this thing, like I said, we kind of joke that we're gonna give it Firefighter of the Year because it's such a valuable tool to us. So you can see how they're placing it right now. During the compressions, we would still be doing manual compressions at this time for this device to be placed properly. So there is a backboard that the top device needs to strap into. There is a little placement sign on that backboard that tells you exactly where it needs to be placed. That suction cup will then be brought down to the chest itself, and then we get it set and just turn it on and start going. Pretty cool. A lot more effective than humans. Unfortunately, we are, a little faulty when it comes to what energy we have. And then there's a couple other features to this, like the head strap, that really make sure it stays in place. The cool thing about this device is you do not have to be laying down for this device to be working. You can actually be seated up in a chair. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, we have a little mobile chair. We call it a stair chair on our rescue. they actually use this very frequently in like Alachua County at the football games. So God forbid someone were to need that at a football game, they can be in a chair, just having this device doing CPR as they're being brought down a staircase, which is very useful. And then, like I said, this thing doesn't get tired. It has a 45-minute battery, unplugged. It works plugged in as well too. But like I said, this is a huge thing just because unfortunately sometimes we have very limited resources that can get out to certain parts of the county. All 3 of our engines have these, as well as the 4 frontline rescues. And then my truck, the Battalion 1 supervisor, has it as well. So pretty much everyone that needs one here has one. So even if you can't get a rescue there, the engines have this, and we can pretty much do everything that the hospital can do in the back of the truck or on the ground. So this is a very, very useful device for us and makes it so we don't need, 5 people on a cardiac arrest. We can really start to run it with 2-3 people with this device. So this is a huge help for our agency.
That's tremendous, and so happy to see that. Having had to administer CPR to someone, it's very exhausting, and to have that, it makes me think about the kids on the football field or in sports events or just any emergency you have.
And that machine ain't sweating like he was fixing.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing is fatigue from the providers. Like I said, we're human. We only have so much effort, and most people don't go to the gym and practice CPR, right? It's not something you usually practice unless you're training on it. So I know one of our big concerns with this device was who can fit in this device, right? There is a size limit for it, and that was kind of a concern of our crews of it does take some time to make sure that the patient is properly placed in this. And the concern would be that they weren't getting quality CPR while this was being placed. So we came up with a really cheap device, kind of a measurement stick. So this is just a little piece of plastic. It's used for some airway stuff. So this is what we carry on the truck anyways. We carry this plastic. And basically we made this into a measuring stick. So less than $5 to create this. And basically this will help the crews be able to measure the size of the patient before taking that device out and taking the time to try and place it, if that makes sense. So we can continue good manual CPR while we're using this device to size them. So basically how this works is the total length of this is the pretty much armpit to armpit chest length you are allowed. So if I place this up, we'll use Chief Carter as an example here. So armpit to armpit, I know that the device will clip in underneath his armpit, so he will fit, if that makes sense. And then there's 3 different color tape. So there's a little piece of gray tape. This is what we put towards the floor. And basically, if you measure in between these 2 lines here, so Chief Carter's laying on the floor, we place this underneath his armpit all the way down to the floor, and I can see that his chest height, so where that suction cup would sit, is in between these 2 colors. So I know Chief Carter is appropriate size, and the Lucas device would be able to be used on him. This is helpful if we have some larger chested patients or pediatrics. We're not really sure what age range this is going to kind of stop at, if that makes sense, but this device is kind of a quick little measuring tool that we've come up with to be able to not delay any effective compressions, make sure that we're not, focused on getting that clipped in and we're not doing actual CPR in the meantime. This is kind of just like a quick little fail-safe measuring device for the crews to be able to measure real quick and then throw that Lucas device on them. So, cool. Any questions about the device?
No, that's wonderful.
Like I said, we've had pretty good luck with it so far. So hopefully we don't need to keep using it, but if we are, it's doing what it's made for.
We didn't practice the measuring stick, so that would have been real embarrassing if I didn't fit in that. But we just sent it back too, by the way. No, I appreciate Lieutenant Rule and Joel and Dakota for coming and demonstrating that. A huge tool for us. Like I said, it's an incredible resource, especially when we're looking at transport times. What this allows us to do is if we have somebody who is actively having a heart attack that's caused them to go into cardiac arrest, and we're able to see that on our EKG monitor, we can transport them directly to a cath lab. So instead of transporting somebody here to Stark, we may transport them to Gainesville while CPR is happening. You may say you're going to go, you're going to transport somebody 30, 45 minutes that doesn't have a heartbeat? And the answer is yes, because that cath lab may save their life, right? And we don't have that cath lab here in town. So again, we may transport while doing CPR, and this device allows us to do that. And so it's been a huge resource for us already. And again, we've only had it for a short period of time. So it's been a great resource there. So yes, we are excited to have that on the truck, and we've got some more equipment that we will display at the next few meetings, just to show you kind of what we, again, when we look at our budget, we look at wants versus needs, and these things are certainly helpful tools, but they're not needs, right? They're not necessities. And so those are the things that we go after grants, and we look at other ways to fund those wants more so than our needs. And so those are the things that, again, we try and be as fiscally responsible as possible with our money. So while I have the mic, I do just want to thank the sheriff and his team and Captain Witt for their efforts during the storm. It was incredible response and just very, very well run through the EOC. And so a tremendous job as per usual from Captain Witt and your team, Sheriff. So thank y'all very much for that. Yep, absolutely. So thank y'all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, Madam Chair, staying on the storm-related information, I hope that you didn't receive too many texts from me when I tried to put out information after every one of the meetings we had in the EOC to keep you guys updated. I hope that was informative for you and didn't become too much. Echoing Chief Carter's words about the sheriff and the EOC and Captain Witt, what an outstanding group. We figured out how to do this, and that's largely because of Captain Witt's dedication and his determination to make this one of the best EOCs in the state. We know how to do hurricanes. Thank you to Chairman Spooner. She attended all of the policy group meetings and the state calls and the county coordination calls during the event. And thank you, ma'am, for your participation. It was very helpful having the chairman there. Other than that, I just want to thank everyone, the team, one mission. Like we've been saying, it all came together. We all performed admirably, and like I said, we know how to do hurricanes. We don't want to do another one, but we know we will. So when that time comes, we'll be ready. But thank you to everyone. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Our attorney, Rob Bradley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chairman, Board, I don't have anything to report today.
Thank you. And from our commissioners, Commissioner Andrews.
Yes, I just want to echo what Mr. Cornegay said. Sheriff, Captain Witt, it's just wonderful having y'all in there and knowing that things are being done. I'd like to thank everyone for what they did. But I want to give a special thank you to the sheriff and to Ben and his team. We had a tragedy. It wasn't during the storm, but we had a 2-year-old that drowned in a pond. And it was the Green family, so I ask that y'all continue to pray for them. And it was very hard. And I just want to thank God that we got the appropriations for the fire station in Brooker. And hopefully before too long, we'll have a space where we can get to situations quicker. But thank you all for everything that you did. It meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to me. So thank you. And that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Thompson.
Yeah, I'd like to echo on what Mr. Cornegay said. You know, one team, united. Y'all did a super job. And two, I appreciate you sending all them messages. Hey. And if I called somebody, I know I aggravated Mr. Chief Carter, but, you know, I got answers that I needed to tell my people, you know. So I appreciate all y'all pulling together, and I thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Commissioner Doherty.
I kind of feel like the Jim Cantor when he comes to town, you know, there's a storm, and it seems like whenever I leave town, there's a storm. So, but I just want to say that Mr. Cornegay, thank you again for keeping the updates and everything coming in. being far away and, you know, being concerned about your county and getting those updates is certainly helpful. So I appreciate that. I want to commend this board on, when we made the decision, just like we just did with the property in Brooker, but with the Pizza Hut. You know, I know we lowered that price there so we could move that. And now there's a business there that's hired people that are, you know, that place has been packed since it opened yesterday. And I think they opened this morning for breakfast. So again, that's forward thinking and looking at, you know, how we took a piece of property that, you know, we were, you know, not collecting taxes on to now collecting taxes and providing employment for a lot of people, and also providing just another establishment for people to enjoy. So again, I commend the rest of the board and thank you all for thinking in an economic and development growth way of the county that we've talked about before, that we really need to be, you know, focused on and trying to do things that are, you know, going to benefit this county in the long run. So thank you. Thank you, Chief Carter and your staff, for the presentation there. Unfortunately, it doesn't look big enough to resuscitate the offensive defensive line of the University of Florida or FSU or the Jags. But, you know, again, that's a really neat device, and glad you guys were able to get that through the grant process. And thank you very much. That's all.
Councilman
Again, the same thing. I just want to thank everyone, and Mr. Cornegay. The updates were very helpful, and I know I blew your phone up and everyone's in the EOC, and especially Jason's. I just thank everyone. It was awesome getting all those, because there was a lot of trees, and some of them were just like they said, tangled up in wires. But for Clay Electric, they really helped us out. A couple of the linemen's crew came down and helped us make sure the wires were clear on Southeast 30th, so that we could clear the road so that the people could even get out, because there for quite a while, when was it, Friday, they couldn't even get out, in or out. So, but anyway, I thank everyone. It was really a good team effort on everybody's part. So thank you.
Okay. Again, I just like to again thank everyone again for the partnership and working together. Even when I was traveling to church on Sunday, there were teams that were gathered at the, I guess it's called the Celestial, where they have the fireworks there, and they're just at the edge of Lodi, prepared to continue to go out into the community. But all of the efforts, and a special thanks to you, Mr. Carnegie, even in the midst of family lost and had a burial on Wednesday, he was still here and trying to help out in any way possible. And all of the groups, Mr. Dodds and our fire rescue, sheriff, everybody working together, and this board in constant contact with your communities and what you could do. We're Bradford County strong. We're one body, one family. And thank you. And with that, let us continue to be vigilant. If you know of anybody that's in need of help, just let somebody know, let your commissioner know, let our county manager and others. God bless each and every one of you, and this meeting is adjourned.